The argument with my childhood sweetheart ended with the sharp crack of his hand against my face in front of everyone. That day I deleted him from my life. Every contact, every connection gone. No one could believe it. Aiden and I had grown up together. I'd been in love with him, trailing after him like a shadow for 9 years straight. Why, Zoe? Was it really just because of that one slap? He asked, his voice hollow with confusion. Yes, I said, my own voice heavy with a certainty that felt like stone. Because of that one slap. When Aiden's palm connected with my cheek for a split second, my brain refused to process what had happened. Aiden's smack echoed in the sudden silence of the classroom. I stumbled back a step, my head swimming in my ears. The spot at my left cheek bloomed with a hot flush, then began to burn like fire. I cupped my face, staring at him in a daze. My Aiden, my childhood sweetheart, had just, in the middle of an argument I was having with a new transfer student, publicly slapped me. He seemed to freeze for a moment, the realization of his own action flickering across his face. But the shock was quickly swallowed by a wave of anger and impatience. Can you just stop causing a scene, Zoe? Go back to your seat. A few snickers broke the tension in the classroom. Most people just watched silently, eyes wide, taking in the free drama. Vanessa, the transfer student, stood beside Aiden, casually twirling a lock of her perfect chestnut hair. She clicked her tongue. Oh, Aiden, what did you do that for? Can't you see your little princess is about to cry? Her words only fueled his anger. His voice dropped, turning icy. If you're going to cry, Zoe, do it at home. This is a school, not a stage for your little princess act. A toxic cocktail of humiliation, grief, and rage turned inside me. Fat, hot tears finally broke free, spilling down my face. As the laughter of the boys in the class rose around me, I turned and bolted from the room. I didn't know where I was going. I just knew I couldn't stay for the next class, couldn't bear to face any of them for another second. Aiden had always been impatient with me, that was nothing new. But for him to hit me, that was a first. More than that. In all my life, no one had ever laid a hand on me like that. Aiden and I were the textbook definition of childhood sweethearts. We'd known each other since we were 3. Our parents were best friends, our apartments right across the hall from each other. And I had loved him for as long as I could remember. In elementary school, I was an easy target for the boys. One was particularly relentless. He'd pull my hair from the seat behind me, stick gum on my chair, and once even set off a tiny firecracker in my desk. I cried to the teacher, and she'd give him a talking -2, but then she'd turn to me with a smile and say, "Oh, he only does that because he likes you." I didn't believe it. The boy never stopped, so I went home and told my parents. They were furious, ready to march down to the school and have a word with that teacher. Aiden's dad, who happened to be visiting, overheard. He called Aiden over and told him it was his job to protect me at school from then on. We were the same age but in different classes. The very next day, during recess, Aiden stormed into my classroom, dragged the boy out into the hall, and laid into him. He'd always been tall for his age with a fierce streak, and he left that kid and his friends whimpering. Before he left, he shot a warning glare at the other boys. Anyone messes with Zoe again, you'll answer to me. That was the moment. That was when my crush solidified into something unshakable. From then on, I became his little shadow, sticking to his side wherever he went. Aiden hated it at first. He had this whole macho complex and thought hanging out with a girl like me wasn't cool. But I was persistent, trailing behind him, calling his name. After a few years, he softened. The annoyance melted away. I started to notice things, the way his eyes would linger on me a little too long, the way He'd get flustered if our gazes met, his cheeks flushing as He'd stammer and change the subject. One evening, his dad joked, "Since the kids are so close, why don't we just promise them to each other?" Aiden didn't say a word, but his hand found mine and squeezed tight. I saw his ears turn bright red. A sweet warmth spread through my chest, and I declared loudly, "Yes, I'm going to marry Aiden." But when high school started, everything changed. At the end of our first semester of freshman year, we got a new transfer student. Her name was Vanessa. The rumor was her parents' work had brought her here.